Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Made Me Do It podcast. My name's Dario and I'll be hosting this episode. I have the privilege of sitting down with my team, Fanie, Luhle and Katie. We're going to be talking about the ongoings at the Roastery at the moment, international wholesale, our competition prep for the year ahead, and our coffee expectations for 2025. I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And here we go. Happy New Year. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, happy February, guys.
Okay, we are recording.
Yeah.
No, don't say that, Fons. It can't be February already.
Thank God it's February.
Yeah, okay. So, listeners, welcome. We're sitting in our lounge, Katie and my lounge, and recording a podcast on a swelteringly hot day in South Africa. Fons, you've been roasting all afternoon.
Yeah, man, it's been warm. But it's actually the coolest day of the week so far. So, yeah.
It's Monday.
I guess then it's Tuesday. Yesterday was definitely yesterday was definitely hotter than today, and Sunday was the worst. So I don't know. Maybe my week starts on Sunday. I'm not sure. I haven't given thought to how I perceive the calendar in a few years.
Yeah, no, it's been warm. I was actually on a video call with one of our partners in the UK, and she was saying, like, it's so cold at the moment. She's wearing two jerseys. She's sitting inside. She wishes she was in the heat. But right now, I would take the two jerseys inside as I sit here staring at our new fireplace that we won't be lighting anytime soon.
Classic Howick.
Let's get into some heavy-hitting topics. Luhle, how was your dinner party the other night?
It was really good. Yeah, I was still having leftovers from that. That was Saturday.
I had leftovers from my 21st, so that was like 2 years ago. There's still cheese in the freezer.
Listen, those tacos.
Yeah.
Those
Shout
tacos
out
were
to
amazing.
Jackie
I would have
Cameron,
that.
man.
Exactly. Shout out Jackie. Dude, it was lovely. I had a couple of friends over. Some not friends, like new friends.
Wait,
yeah.
who are you singling out now? Who's not your friend?
I was going to say, do they know
Who are
that
we
they're not a
fighting?
friend?
They know. They are aware. They were told
okay.
prior and after.
You're still not a
The
friend.
tribe has spoken.
Pending. But yes, it was sick, man. It was vegan. I had a couple of vegan mates over, so
Now I
full
understand
vegan
why I
menu.
didn't crack the invite.
Lots of random sauce.
Lots of random sauce. That's no good. No random sauce.
It was all garnish.
Oh garnish, exactly. Parsley party.
No infused.
Shout out.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so you're down the cooking rabbit hole.
Yep.
I feel like that's going to be a theme this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling. I've avoided going too deep down any cooking rabbit holes in any direction.
Someone is into dough right now.
But I'm do-re-meing it right now. I'm super into my pizza dough, and oh man, it just seems like another one of these flipping rabbit holes, like this pesky coffee thing that we're all obsessed with, you know. Started out with like brewing a couple of espressos at home, and then bam, Roastery, tons of green coffee, 1 billion trillion rands worth of stuff,
Yeah. Lots of shelves.
lots of shelves.
Yeah.
But we
It's
won't
all
do that
very
with pizza.
dusty.
Let's keep that fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no pizza businesses around here.
Yeah. So I think the last time we sat down as a group to record a podcast was like probably a year ago, maybe 6 months.
Sheesh.
Did we do a debrief after nationals?
No, I think maybe did we do like a post Cape Town podcast or something like that? No post Cape Town podcast, but there was definitely a post something podcast in the middle of the year. I feel like
Post Greece, was that last year?
nah, post Greece was 2 years ago. Yeah, that was just before your 21st. Yeah,
That's what I mean. I think it's been a while.
yeah, it has been some time. I think you and I might have been on a podcast. I think it's since all of us have sat down. It's been a fair amount of time. Yeah.
So obviously a lot's happened. Being a part of a dynamic, like growing business is a lot of fun. And we always have a lot of projects on the go and trips planned and amazing people we're working with. But I think it's quite hard for me, it's quite hard to reflect back with clarity. I'm so future focused that it's hard to remember like what was happening 4 months ago because I'm so obsessed with what will be happening in 4 months from now. But yeah, I mean, if we didn't cover it, congratulations to both of you on really, really good national barista championship results last season. Luhle, you finished 7th overall.
True.
At nationals, which is very, very impressive, and even more so when you understand the context that your mic fell off halfway through the set and no one heard what you said for about 5 minutes, and you still scored really well. And then Fawn's like incredible second place finish, the people's champ for sure. I'll put that out there. I'm happy to put that on a podcast. And just like so many positives to take away from the season, and just incredible results. So well done.
And I can definitely do like more burpees than all of those guys
put together.
Yeah, put together for sure. I'll put money on that right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not Andre, but
well, he wasn't in barista. He was in cup
the
tasters.
entire top 6 of barista. I can call you out now. I'll do more burpees than all of you combined.
And today's weird flex.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was quite an eventful competition season last year. I think a lot of learning for us, and a lot of, I guess, it proving from our input what we can get out, which was quite good to see. It was good to see that, like, to execute 2 seasons in a row to place in the top 3, very, very cool. But obviously that was last year in frigging March. I mean, we've had a whole decade since then.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you backtrack slightly, I think today is the 1-year anniversary of the regionals.
Oh yeah,
28.
crikey, man.
Yeah.
Jeepers creepers. Look
Might
at
be
that.
wrong by a
So
couple of
you
days.
left your mango ferment next to the freezer at the roastery
exactly
a
1
year
year ago. Oh,
yeah.
man.
So I mean, we're waiting for dates.
Yeah,
for
the
upcoming
a lot
cycle,
of
and
speeding
we are-
tickets.
I don't
Still
know. I'm
not paid.
feeling like
Gang.
strangely calm. I don't know if you guys have got that same sort of feeling, but I'm feeling strangely calm about the season ahead. Less figuring out and more just like executing everything really, really well.
Dude, we just have like, more time. Last year, this time we'd already executed 2 sets each. So I think like that helps, being able to start off the year and just settle back into the swing of things. And I would also we're more experienced. We've this is like collectively, if you look at it, nationals to nationals, it's our 4th shot at a barista competition. So if you add the regionals in between there, it's our 5th time. And I think all of this, you grow accustomed to how things operate, and you grow accustomed to the prep that needs to be done. There's less unknowns and just more work. You understand where your input and your effort needs to go. So I can concur. I think I feel the same way. I mean, it's not just another competition season. We're always going to bring the heat. We're always going to come out swinging. But there's a bit more certainty and clarity around the direction I think we want to take with coffees. And I think just on how to prep, you know what I'm saying? Like we're practiced at practicing now.
Absolutely, and there are some changes we've discussed around like prep and everything that we want to improve on and change. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We also, we had an equipment upgrade in our training center, which is going to double as our prep lab for our comp prep station. So we've got like a very comparable machine now for what we'll be using at nationals and regionals, fully set up all the time with no one else around and just us to practice, which is going to be super cool. And I'm really hoping the weather cools down a bit before we start practicing, because running sets on repeat at the moment would be sweaty.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we're looking forward to it. It's always one of our the most exciting parts of the year. We look forward to the input and the effort, and the growth that comes from another competition season.
Exactly.
Like we're going to get to taste some really, really great world-class espresso for 6 to 10 weeks straight. It could be worse.
Happy days, man. Happy days. I think a part of the excitement that I've had is that I've been able to watch both of your personal and professional growth over the last 12 months. And I can honestly say that you're different people coming into this competition cycle. And competition is such a weird thing to speak about in the context of growth personally and professionally, because it's just like 15 minutes on stage. But it also isn't. It's the way that you approach things. It's the maturity you bring to the table. It's the train of thought that the sort of story that you're bringing to the competition stage. I'm really interested to hear from the two of you, what has there been one thing that's been like an aha moment for you in or out of coffee, personal life, training, whatever it might be, that has really set you up for like positive mindset coming into the season? Starting with you, Luhle.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's competition, like you said. It's hard to kind of measure its impact on our lives in our careers as well. But like I've said in the past, like competition is such a cool space to look back and see what you've done in the first time or the second time or the third time. And I think in my context, it's my second time this year, which I kind of viewed last year as like cool, getting out there, putting myself out there and putting myself in an uncomfortable space that is completely new, where now it's a completely different mindset. And I think that aha moment, I guess, would have happened around prep time last year and kind of seeing how not too bad I am. I guess, like I felt super confident going into it, and also just the ability to zone in and improve. And like you said, I mean, we made the joke about the mango ferment situation. I look back proudly at that reaction from the team's perspective, and also my own reaction to those moments. And I think that has played a big part in how I've approached a lot of troubling situations throughout the year and going forward, and just simply zoning in and backing yourself that you can get to the other side.
That's super interesting. So the positive lessons from comp have actually helped you in other areas of your life
100%,
as much as other areas have helped you in comp as well.
100%,
which is very cool. Fons, I mean, you're tackling so many new projects at the moment, including a new degree. Your training is obviously ramped, your coaching as well. Can you single out like a few things that have really made a big impact recently?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna. What decision can I make today that will put me closer to that goal, right? And kind of thinking of things in that context and allowing myself to be all in on all of these things.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love the conversations we've been having recently around like the importance of the daily.
Yep.
Like it's not one thing. It's never one massive thing that happens. It's the small things we do every day, and they make the biggest difference over time. And in the context of every area of business and life, that's going to be true, from what we eat to, exercising to the work that we do. In the context of Bluebird, I remember ages ago when it was like just me and one other person in the company. And I just remembered thinking like, oh my gosh, imagine the day when we've got somebody, like one person who's just dedicated to like one area of the business all the time, instead of like one person or two people trying to do absolutely everything. And it's really cool sitting around the table today and actually being in a situation where that's very much the case for us. It seems like such a small thing if you're listening to this and you work in a big corporate, or if you've got a business which has grown past this point. I hope you can remember what it was like to go from small business to like proper medium business, when the bank phones and they're like, hey, you don't need small business banking anymore. You need to go up one level. And it's like, you get to do medium business, baby. What does that mean? We're going to charge you more. But no, in all seriousness, in the last 12 months, we've done so much, including, there goes our airflow and the door closing, including from a media perspective. And I'm sitting here next to Katie, who is our gosh, I mean, we call you our creative director. It's probably not the right word.
Official title is head of science.
Head of science, exactly. In amongst everything that's been going on, we also have like released a whole new brand identity. And you've played such a massive role in communicating that identity to our followers through the content we're putting out into all of our different channels, the websites, the print media, etc., etc. So beyond the design of the bags, which was done by Callie Sharp, and all the work that happened around there's so much that goes into it on a day-to-day basis and communicating what it is that we do, who we are, and what we're all about. I'd love to hear from your perspective, Katie, what it's been like to work with this new brand look and feel, and what it's been like to communicate who we are as a brand better with this new sort of identity that we feel was long overdue.
Yeah, I think we actually rebranded before we rebranded in a lot of ways. Like, we matured before the brand did, and I think like our content and the substance behind Bluebird matured before the actual packaging did. So yeah, it was a bit more of like playing catch up, I think, with the branding. Like, we found ourselves in a position where our packaging and our logo and whatever wasn't reflecting. Is this okay?
Yeah, but I've got it.
Oh, okay. Wasn't reflecting who we were and where we felt like we were at. And I think that really hit home with a lot of our customers, because a lot of our customers were wondering why we were rebranding. Like, they loved the old bags and the illustrative style and whatever, and like just explaining that side of it where we felt like it didn't reflect where we were at anymore. And then it clicked, and a lot of people were like, okay, yeah, like, why haven't you done this sooner, kind of thing. So it hasn't been that much of a change. Maybe it's been more of like it all feels aligned now, and we're not trying to like make up for any discrepancies in our communication and substance. It feels all on the same level now.
I think that's so true and so cool, because, and the reason I brought it up now is, you know, when you start looking at Bluebird as a company, like if you're outside of our business and you're interested in what we do, and I think there are a lot of people asking questions around the way that we do things, we build everything that we do into the brand. So, for example, competition, and, you know, we segued from competition into design. The two are so well tied together, because when we decided to really take competition on, very much driven by Fanie's interest in competition, I wanted to work with a lot of competition coffee every year. So we started to source these coffees specifically for competition, but then we wanted to make them available and to sell them. So it was a sustainable business. So we don't work with like 3 Panama geishas every year. We actually work with that level of coffee all year round. And then it was a question around, how do we communicate that? How do we package that? How do we bring people in and make them feel included in this world of like super high-end, quote unquote, competition coffee? And I think you're completely right, Katie. When Bluebird was started, the industry was not where it is today. I was still trying to communicate that coffee is a fruit, that it's actually grown in high altitude areas. And today we're so fortunate to be at the point where we're talking about, you know, the different types of geisha coming from one plantation in Panama, rather than, you know, what is washed and what is natural. We're a long way past that conversation, which is super, super cool. So seeing it all tying together and having individual people focused on communicating different parts of the business to different audiences has been so, so awesome to see. And it's been really great to take the show on the road. Luhle, you were obviously in Cape Town at the end of last year for the Coffee Mag Awards. Shout out to the Coffee Mag for hosting these awards every year. And we managed to be recognized for our packaging, best packaging in the country. And what else did we win?
Best alternative brewing.
Back to back, baby. Back to back.
Facts again.
Best alternative brewing is a cool one. For our European listeners, that'll sound a bit weird because it's just brewing. Alternative brewing in South Africa is anything other than espresso, because South Africa is obsessed with espresso. So yeah, our filter bar paying off dividends.
Shout out to the cafe team, man.
Yeah, for certain.
But yeah, I mean, it's evident to the work that we've done in implementing systems of work for that space, but also again tying back to the kind of coffees that we offer. I mean, we launched the freezer menu at a time where it was very new in the markets globally. I'd like to say, I would think.
Yeah.
I think it was just new because you were like 4
I was
years
new.
old.
Right. I was new into it.
But definitely new locally, yeah, for
100%, 100%. I mean, that freezer holds some of the best coffees we've had over the years, which is what freezing gives us the option of, to have coffees in there like a vintage menu of some sorts, right? So yeah, I think that award is pretty cool.
And I like that award because it's like, listen, I mean, if you're going to be, we don't shoot for awards, obviously. That's not the goal of the business. But it's cool when you do get recognized for something. I quite like it because it sort of speaks to the quality of the supply chain. Like by the time someone drinks a coffee on our filter bar, we aren't buying it roasted by somebody else. You know, we're sourcing those coffees, we're roasting them, we're preparing them, and people are having great experiences, which is really cool. Makes me very happy. And that's where we spend all of our time in the mornings connecting as a team, and having great conversations is around that filter bar. But dear Howick locals, come buy more high-end filter coffee from us. It's available.
Yeah, man, I was just, our town is very, very small. And I ran into the mayor yesterday. So that's how small the town is. I ran into him in Spa, right there by the bananas. Yeah, so I ran into our mayor in Spa, and we were talking about like the availability of like recreational activities in the area. It's coming along quite nicely in the Midlands. Obviously, it's quite a hot spot for tourist destinations, but just kind of like thinking about where, not just in the country but in the world, can you go and have such an extensive menu of filter coffee. It is not just some of the quote unquote best coffee in town or in the province or in the country. It's some of the best coffees in the world. There are coffees in that freezer menu, on that freezer menu that have, represented on the world stage, producers that have won, multiple awards. People who, like, I think for us, it's a dream to work with. And it's cool to see that facility recognized, but it would be amazing if it gets even more traction, even more traffic, because there's world-class coffee right on the people of Howick's doorsteps.
Absolutely.
Your mom thinks Howick Buzz is the key. We need to post more on Howick Buzz.
So we have a local like Facebook group, and my mom's a legend, and she's just like, tag the Howick Buzz, they'll change your business.
Hey, look, I think like if you think about it, right, I think most of Howick's population is on Facebook. Yeah. So like, I mean, she could be onto something, right?
That's pretty funny.
And like maybe Pauline is our target market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my mom could be the target market.
If we could get 55-year-old ladies to order filter coffee, if I can get Pauline to order like Panama Geisha off of our freezer menu when she comes in for a coffee, I'd be a happy man.
Guys,
right?
Please remind me to tell my mom that Fanie said she was 55. She'll be so stoked. You're off by about a decade, bro.
Man, hey, look, Pauline is obviously aged well. You can see where you get your good looks from.
Thanks, Fans. Yeah, thanks.
Got a face for podcasts.
Yeah, payday's just passed, dude. You got a whole month to do this.
Age, dude. Yeah, well, I mean, payday's just passed, but I'm gonna be buttering you up on the like 9-hour flight to Kenya. So I'm
talking about
time.
that comp budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I watched a really interesting reel today from is it Roaster Cat?
Yeah, sure. She used to work for Black and White.
Yes, I think she's working for a green coffee sourcing company. Kat, if you listen to this, apologies. We don't know where you work exactly.
It's El Grano. I think
El Grano, yeah. Okay, cool. And she was talking about some like predictions for 2025 around green coffee and roasting and so on. And I think like some of the predictions are like pretty obvious. And speak to like wider issues that we know of in the industry around supply and demand and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know, like, guys like Tim Wendelboe and Coffee Collective who've been building these like long-term relationships at Origin for decades have to be looking at the state of affairs at the moment going, we were right. It's going to be important. It is important for us to have these direct relationships. And I'm so grateful that that's something that like we grabbed onto as a company from day one, and it's still such an obsession for us, is that keep the main thing. The coffee can't be better than the green coffee, and the green coffee can't be better than the people we get to work with every year. The consistency will only exist if the people we work with are obsessed with quality, and I'm just so grateful to be working with the producers we work with. I wouldn't start to list them now because I'm going to miss people out and it will be offensive. But we work with the most amazing people. And this year is another season of consolidation for us. For our listeners who hear coughing in the background, Katie's been kind enough to leave the room to go and cough her lungs out, but we can still hear her. So
Good mics.
Good
The
mics.
mics are excellent, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll cough straight into the mic.
Grab a pillow.
I've got mine.
Crikey, that's so funny.
Well, I don't know what else
we are very fortunate to work with like a group of these incredible people.
Yeah.
And like it's going to be another big year of consolidation for us.
Absolutely. We're off to Kenya in a couple of weeks' time to go select our coffees for the season. I've got big expectations around the coffee that we'll be able to purchase. And we're also looking at some single farmer projects. I'm really excited to explore that avenue as well. But we will also be continuing to purchase from the factories we have been purchasing from, namely Kamwangi in the Kirinyaga region. And just like going deeper with the people we're currently working with, as well as carefully and slowly adding a few new producer partners through the next 12 months. At the end of the day, our menu and our quality it has to speak super, super loudly because we're far away from everybody. And I know we speak about this a lot, but we really, really are. So yes, green coffee is going to be massive. I would love to circle back to this and talk about some of the coffees that we've loved recently and some of the coffees we're looking forward to what we're going to be looking for in the coming year. But before going there, I think Luhle, you've been working really, really hard on as our wholesale manager on connecting with the right partners. And this is something that's so important for us. We're so obsessed with making sure that we work with the right people. And in September, I went to the UK and to a few countries in Europe to go and connect with our existing partners. I think eight pop-ups, maybe more than that. Some info evenings, recorded a few podcasts, connected with some amazing coffee professionals from, Ian Kissick to obviously Marcus from Sweet Spot, the whole team at Motors, Thomas and Lola, Humberto from Five Elephants in Berlin, what a legend. Jordan and Nicole, all these incredible people who we get to. James from Roslyn. Brad from Dark Arts, who we don't do any business with, but he's just the biggest legend, and I'm wearing his t-shirt right now. We love you, Brad.
Yeah, we love you, Brad.
Brad's t-shirt, Brad's merch.
How do you know this isn't Brad's t-shirt?
I don't know.
Off the back of a legend.
Yeah.
But just an amazing trip. And I think what really hit me is specifically in Munich, spending time with Marcus, with his family, with his team, definitely the most pivotal international business relationship that we've had as a company from a sales perspective. And it's not a sales relationship, guys. We're like really good friends, and we happen to align on what we think coffee should taste like, and we work really well together. And being in a room with a full room with his customers and saying there I am, hey, nice to meet you guys. Have any of you tasted our coffee before? And it's like, you idiots. Everyone's hands go up. They're all major fans of the brand and the coffee, and just so overwhelmed with love and positivity. We just realized that, gosh, the work we're doing and the relationships we're building are so meaningful. And although we don't get to drink a cup of coffee with everybody who gets to enjoy our coffee around the world, it means so much to us if you are supporting and are drinking our coffee. And we're really obsessed with making Bluebird available on a wider and wider scale. I was at Katie at your dad's house yesterday, and Ollie's got this beautiful TV room downstairs, and on the one wall there's this massive map, like a wallpaper map. and I was standing there with our kids and just looking at the map and going, wow, right now, as I'm standing here, coffee's being served there and there and there, from like in the east, you know, through to Europe, across America, and so on and so forth. And it's just such an aha, well, not an aha moment, it's like a pinch me moment, actually, for this little 6-year-old business that's grown to such an extent. Luhle, you're obviously in the coal front, at the front of the coal. Forefront.
In the front.
You're in the front, bro. And you're having these conversations with people every day around what it is that we're doing and who we're looking to partner with. And it just seems to me that there's some really, really cool positive momentum at the moment, and that Think Things coffee brand team is being well received.
100%. Yeah, dude. I mean, using the 12 months of reflection on wholesale, the language is definitely changing in terms of the response that we're getting. It's so cool to reach out to like a myriad of multi-roaster cafes around the world, and for them to respond, be like, you guys are legends, we've heard of you, we've tasted your coffee at this place, this person speaks highly of you.
And then it's like, no, that's the other Bluebird.
No, it's us. But yeah, because I mean, we've carried this thing of being like, we're so far away from everything, bottom tip of Africa, we not so close to like where the gold standard of coffee is. But it's so cool that guys like Marcus at Sweet Spot and guys like Andre at Bel Air are trusting into what we're doing here. Just naming a few guys, but they are investing into what we are now and what we'll become. So yeah, it's been really cool to connect with people that understand also what we're trying to do. I think from a wholesale perspective, communicating both locally and internationally, there's definitely a lot of growth that can be had in terms of how we view coffee locally. And this is exactly where the international comes in, is to build ourselves up to be at a point where the local guys can also be, you know, championed as part of the network. And they very much are. We have a lot of amazing partners locally, but being able to reach the global stage as well is pretty cool.
And your focus, I mean, your mandate is definitely not just international growth, it's local growth.
Indeed.
We've had some really cool customers join us recently, locally.
Yeah.
And one in particular is William in Knysna.
Shout out, William.
This is a cool story. I think it's just like, it's a cool story to share about. It's like, to me, it's like the opposite of what the traditional cafe story is. William comes into the coffee business. He thinks he's buying a business that may or may not cover its own costs, and then ends up with a completely different animal on his hands a few days in.
100%.
What's a bit of the story there? And
Yeah, it's such a cool relationship we have with him. William and I started talking long time ago, in 2024, early 2024, trying to kind of quote on equipment for a business that didn't exist at the time. He was still scouting for a place to buy, but he already decided that he's going to open a cafe in Knysna, a beautiful town. What would you call it? Knysna town?
Yeah.
Down in the Western Cape. And yeah, he's a big fan of our work. He's a subscriber as well. And yeah, we went back and forth for some time, until we decided on incredible equipment, had a sale not pulled through at the very last minute of a business, which was disheartening. But then 2 months later, was able to purchase another place, and what he's built there already is incredible. I mean, super high volume, but is incredibly obsessed with quality, and quality with everything. You know, the food, the drinks, just in general, like a quality obsessed person. And I spent a couple of days with him and his wife Jill at their home in Knysna, and yeah, it was just really cool to connect with people that we align so much with. And yeah, man, there's a very beautiful bottle of wine waiting for the team there. He kept the promise. I hope he hasn't drank it.
William, we're expecting, man.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, just an incredible person and relationship that we have. So that's exactly the kind of partners that we're looking for, and the kind of partners that we have. It's quality obsessed partners that want to grow in the industry as much as we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely growth is there, but the quality of it is pivotal to what we're trying to do.
His experience has been what everyone who opens a cafe wishes their experience would be.
100%.
Busier than they thought they were going to be.
100%.
Better received than they thought they were going to be.
Chasing couriers every day.
Exactly. That's so cool, man. With that, obviously, with that growth, there's a whole new pressure that comes in the roastery farms. And as our roastery manager, it's been interesting to work with you as you implement new systems and new storage techniques and roasting plans and so on and so forth. Obviously, they're the fundamentals like man hours to get the work done, but it goes beyond that, doesn't it? How has it been so far coping with the growth that we're experiencing, and what are some of the things you're looking forward to as the growth continues through the next year and beyond?
Yeah, dude, I think on this, I think speaking to the responsibility that we have towards this job, right? We're not just responsible for packing and shipping orders or putting coffee in bags. We are responsible for what William's customers experience at the end of the chain, right? Like, we are responsible for the taste experience that gets provided by our wholesale customers, right? It's a very, very, I like to think about the consequences of my decisions, not on myself or the wholesale customer, but the customer at the end of the chain, right? Somebody who has totally different problems to William and Armando and Robin at Shoots and Leaves, right? Like, somebody who really kind of has no idea what has gone into this cup of coffee, but you know how they say that good background music is the problem with good background music is that you don't notice it's there, right? I kind of like to think about the house blends in the same way, right? If you just remember that it was good, that's job well done. It has been interesting.
That's so interesting. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I think you're spot on there. Not every cup of coffee has to blow your mind as a coffee, a specialty coffee drinker, you know. So that's really cool. I like that perspective.
Dude,
you want it to be exceptional, but background music's such a great way to describe it.
Coffee can be an end within itself, but I think of coffee mostly as a means to an end, right? I think I use this analogy a lot when I talk about mom and dad having a cup of coffee in the morning before they leave the house together. Or when you're catching up with an old friend, right? Coffee is a vessel for these kinds of relationships, which ties in so beautifully with everything that we've been saying so far. And so, I take that responsibility very seriously from a coffee quality perspective. But coffee quality doesn't start and stop with the beans themselves, right? It's the packaging, the storage. It is how we treat the coffee from the moment it arrives in the roastery to the moment that it leaves the roastery, and how do we protect it as best as we can for that journey to the customer. And so implementing these new systems, making sure that we solve problems we never knew that we would have, right? Figuring out how to tape boxes for international customers, and what type of parcel to book so that it gets through the courier system to Neisner, or those kinds of things. Navigating that has been very interesting, but again, like I said, I think I take the responsibility of the job very seriously, and I think we're very fortunate to be in this position, right? We have such a large amount of trust from if you extrapolate the number of people who drink our coffee, thousands, I don't know, question mark, hundreds of thousands, question mark. I don't know how many different people have tasted coffee that you or I have roasted, but we get to share a little bit of our craft with every single one of those people. And again, whether it's packing bags or organizing the shelves or sweeping the floor, we carry a responsibility in that roastery, and that roastery is responsible for something more than, the beans on the floor or the bags in the crate. And that is how I've been approaching the work. I don't think just in the last year, but I've tried to be very intentional in the last year with thinking about it in that context. And that every single last cog in the machine provides a certain amount of input towards the output. You know what I'm saying? Whether it is the bags in the crate or the burner on the roaster, right? One is way more important than the other, but without one, the other cannot, fulfill its true purpose.
Yeah, that's super cool. I think, as a business owner, I'm really blessed to have the team that I have around me, and I think we're all very fortunate to work with each other because we all get the importance of each other's roles. And everything is just moving in such a good direction at the moment, it feels good. It feels good to be starting the year, and the biggest problem we have to solve right now is we're burning through packaging faster than we can get it from China. And it's been really exciting to see as many parcels as we've had ship out to Bulgaria and Austria and Taipei City and so on and so on and so on. It's been really cool.
Colorado Springs, man.
Shout out Colorado Springs. Legends. Yeah, so I think, from my perspective, there's so many things to look forward to this year. And one of the things that I'm always thinking about is coffee. I'm always thinking about what are we buying, what did we love in the last season? What did we not love so much? What are we going to be looking for in terms of profile and continuously refining our style? There's definitely a lot of risk in a supply business to try and supply what everybody is looking for. So try and cover the whole menu. We definitely don't do that. A few big no's for us this season, as always, will be infused coffees, co-ferments. We're going to be looking for clean coffees. We don't mind a bit of funk. We enjoy a bit of funk from time to time. Shout out Danger. But we're definitely going to be looking for a lot of really clean coffees. Our Ethiopians have just arrived, and these are some of my favorite coffees in quite some time. Just like really clean, floral, sweet coffees. Is there a particular, and Luhle, I'll start with you, bro. Is there a particular producer who we work with whose coffees you are most looking forward to sampling this year?
Ooh. Alejo, actually. I mean, I feel like that's a big constant year in, year out. The first ever Bluebird coffee I had was Alejo's coffees. So Vulcan Azul is always a feature. And that also comes in from the fact that my favorite coffee last year was from Vulcan Azul, which was the red honey geisha.
Oh, man.
That we had from him. It was, I don't know. Yeah, it was a banger coffee. Super clean, but lots and lots of red fruits and just, beautiful, beautiful coffee. So yeah, I'd say Alejo is definitely one I'm marking, because also I think Alejo does a really good job of offering a wide variety of coffees that we can offer to our wholesale customers, to our subscribers, to our home brewers out there. You're gonna find like super clean washed and an incredible natural something anaerobic, because red honey was also anaerobic. So yeah, I think Alejo's coffees are up there for me this year.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I also can't wait to. I know that this harvest, which is they're busy with at the moment, and also congratulations to Alejo and his family. Alejo Jr. arrived a few weeks ago. So they've got Alejo and his wife have 2 kids now, and the legacy continues. Maybe one of them will be the 6th generation to run the family business. But yeah, I think Alejo, I was talking to him a few weeks ago, and they've installed some new stainless steel tanks. So their anaerobics are going to be even more controlled this season, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. So yeah, I agree. I think Vulcan Azul is going to be another season of great coffees from Costa Rica. Fons, what are you most looking forward to, bro?
Dude, ask me about one producer and I will find a way to talk about at least 5 of them.
Exactly. Fran Jansen?
Yeah, dude. So, I've been picking my brain. I knew the question was coming, and we've obviously been talking about who was our favorite producer of the last year, that kind of thing. I have to admit that, over the last calendar year or so, I've really fallen in love with South American geisha. It's I never really understood the hype until you don't understand the hype until you do, right? And there are a lot of renowned coffee professionals out there that swear by really good, well processed, clean Panama geishas and the like. So that being said, Franceschi is always going to be near the top of my list. Some of the most incredible producers, some of the most incredible coffee I have ever personally tasted and brewed for people. And oftentimes when I talk about that coffee and brew it for people, the feedback is incredible, which is quite special to see that these kinds of coffees that you would in theory think are kind of reserved for the elite, quote unquote, right? But they really are deliciousness knows no level of skill or knowledge or experience. if something's good, it's good, right? So Franceschi is obviously top tier. Jansen is another producer that's always near the top of my list. Obviously, I competed with the 629 last year, and the Jansens that we have currently in the roastery are fantastic. I'm always looking forward to seeing what Kai and his team produce. I echo Alejo, but Pepe, Finca Soledad, yeah, man, always pushing the boundaries. That's 4, right? That's 4 producers.
That's 4 of your favorites.
Yeah,
One.
for sure. That is, yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I must admit that Franceschi will, I guess, in perpetuity, at least for now, remain at the top of my list. That really clean, really classic Panamanian geisha profile. There's something so alluring and delicious about it, man. Like, we were cupping the other day, and there was one Panamanian geisha on the table, and like, the context of that, being able to taste that coffee next to other coffees of similar price points, of quote unquote similar values or similar rarities, as well as just like our single origin range, which by no stretch of the imagination is bad. It was just like, yeah, okay, Panama geisha, yeah, that makes total sense.
Quality is quality.
Quality is quality, man. Yeah.
Absolutely. Katie, I mean, your favorite coffee of the year might be your favorite coffee ever. You've been like hiding it from people. And in fact, an order came through the other day on the web store for like 4 kilos of it. And Katie was like, lucky bastards, because it's almost finished.
Wasn't it the ground bag? Yes.
Yeah, I was jealous of Fanie because he got to grind a kg of it. But it's the De La Gua anaerobic natural. Yeah.
From the coolest producer name ever.
Yeah, I mean, his first name is Danger. And
Not even his middle name. Baby.
Not even his middle name.
My first name.
Which is so badass. It's actually crazy. Like when the samples arrived from Equation Coffee and we saw the name, you guys, if we had chosen that coffee and we hadn't chosen it blind in amongst the samples, you definitely would have thought that I chose it based on name.
Yeah, for sure. If it was bad, right? But luckily, it was one of the best coffees of the year. Right?
Exactly.
Which, I didn't pin it to be. Like, I knew it was like a really high quality anaerobic, but oh my days, has it been good.
Yeah, it's been a banger. So yeah, that's awesome. Nice variety of producers. For me, the sort of like sleeper in the bunch has been an unexpected coffee. I've really loved the Lorena from El Socorro in Guatemala. I didn't think that I would have a Guatemalan coffee near the top of my list this year because it's really not like my favorite coffees of the year. They're just amazing daily drivers, and we always get amazing coffees from Guatemala, but I would generally be picking like a AA Kenyan or a whatever the case may be. But this Lorena from El Socorro has been spectacular, like really, really good. We were only able to buy 30 kilos, so it's almost finished and we just launched it, but it's been super, super good. And if I had to choose a second coffee that has been a pivotal coffee for me, so maybe this is like a good one from a roasting perspective, the washed geisha from Finca Soledad. I sent a batch of it to Marcus at Sweet Spots early on when I started roasting the coffee. It was also early on in our sort of like understanding of the Stronghold roast machine, and Marcus gave me just the most honest, fantastic feedback, which was the coffee wasn't that good. And on reflection, now having approached the coffee differently and improved my skills on the new roasting machine, I can honestly say that it wasn't that good. So apologies to everyone who got that coffee. But the same lot, we had a 15 kilo bag in the freezer, so I actually got to go back to the coffee and work with it again. And we were cupping last week again, just production samples, and it was one of the standouts on the table to me, and it has been for a while now. So shout out to Pepe.
Yeah.
Thanks to Marcus for the feedback, because I don't get better if I don't get told.
It's also from last year's the previous harvest, not
exactly.
the most recent harvest that
exactly.
we have in the roastery currently. Yeah, which
shout out to the freezer maybe.
shout out to the freezer, but also just I guess I think every time I come on here I talk about just the stability of the coffees that we work with, man. Like high quality processing speaks not just in quality of flavor, but in so many other characteristics that you don't get to see and really work so intimately with these coffees. But damn, man, our producers do a really, really good job.
Yeah, they really are. Like Pepe is producing some ridiculous coffee at the moment. This new cold fermentation geisha we have, and the geisha wave are tasting so good. Cyoxy's tasting incredible. None of these coffees on our website, but Cyoxy is launching in the Bob subscription, the Best of Bluebird subscription. The other two will come out in the Best of Bluebird probably in the next 2 months, because I just want to release these coffees and make sure that our subscribers get to taste them before they're sold out on wholesale.
Yeah, for certain. Damn, man.
But yeah, so good. So good. And I think the freezer, we were talking about the freezer menu. We haven't really frozen green that much until about 1.5 years ago. And I've been so impressed by the stability of our green coffee in the freezer, more so than roasted coffee. And it does open up like a whole interesting avenue. I mean, our building is fully solar powered. We produce about 30% more electricity than we need at the moment. So we have capacity to actually add appliances to our infrastructure and still produce more electricity than we need.
Which is a yes on the mechanical bull.
This, I mean, why not? But I'd love to put like a big walk-in freezer in one day. And, imagine having, we've spoken about this before, but more from a roasted coffee perspective. Like imagine having Jansen, natural Jansen for like 4 years in the freezer and get to taste them side by side. But imagine having 4 years worth of green coffee in the freezer and then applying, it's kind of like having your negatives from film photography. You can do only so much with prints, but if you have the negatives, you can apply new techniques, you can expose them differently. So if you've got the green coffee, the potential is still wild. So that really, really excites me. Like imagine having some of that like George Howell, like really old Kenyan coffee frozen that you get to go back to now and taste what it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really cool opportunity, because when you freeze roasted coffee, like props to the best brewers in the world. But you are only going to, the ceiling of the coffee is capped once it's roasted, right? I think when you have the opportunity to go back and apply new techniques, you have become a better roaster. There's still like, a process to be applied. And a change of state to take place, right? A roasted coffee is as close to a final product as it gets. If you are able to take 2 steps, roasting and then brewing, you have a way higher chance of a different result, potential improvements, which we hope for, obviously, than just having roasted once and then trying to brew differently. You're not going to brew roast defects out of a coffee, but, you can learn how to roast better.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm very excited about this side of things.
For certain.
Also, like at this time of the year where people are struggling for fresh coffees, just in general, it's nice to have some coffee in the freezer and being able to like say, hey, we have Ethiopians. They're tasting great. We have Kenyan coffees. They're tasting great, even though it's like kind of the wrong time of the year for them. So yeah, very, very exciting. I think
it like just creates that option to have like an incredibly, incredibly diverse and like immersive menu of coffee, right? Like you can truly come here and immerse yourself in the experience. You can taste what natural processing, anaerobic natural. You can taste like biofermentation. We have Wilton Benitez in the freezer. Whatever your heart desires, is that if you want to come and have a great coffee experience, right? We can offer that to you, and that's really, really cool, because like we get to have these coffee experiences, but we get to share them with people around the world. And I mean, yeah, that's what this is all about, right?
Man, it's exciting to be in coffee. Yeah, I love the stuff. So, Kenya in a few weeks. Luhle, you're probably off to Mauritius in a few weeks.
Yep.
To go do some work with our partners in Mauritius.
Tentatively March.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Katie, you and I will be off to Europe at some point this year to go and hang out with our customers and do some more pop-ups.
We'll give Brad his t-shirt back.
Hopefully this time you get your visa.
Yeah, man.
And I think for me it's an exciting time to be a part of a team that has direction, and we know where we're going. This podcast is not often dedicated to like talking about all things Bluebird. It's normally very much focused on other people's stories and passion and exploring motivation and coffee and so on. But at the end of the day, we're all at this point where our careers are pointing in the same direction and we're moving rapidly, and it's exciting. And I think it's going to be a year of challenges, stories, successes, and new opportunities. And yeah, I'm really excited to journey with you guys. Thanks for the chat. Fanie, what's your deadlift weight?
What's my deadlift weights? Crikey, that's a great question. So, yeah, the entire top 6 combined. Oh, man. No, my deadlift weight's about, right about on 2.85 times my body weight.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. My dead weight. My dead weight. I don't want to speak about my dead weight right now. I'm trying to reduce that.
So I was walking up to this 300 kilo barbell, and
thanks for listening to another episode of the Coffee Made Me Do It podcast. We'll have a series rolling out for the next few months with some really interesting guests, and we'll be covering some really cool topics around coffee and coffee related ongoings. Thank you for listening in. Please share this with your mates, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.